Good morning. It's day 68 of lockdown for me, and it's been 14 months since I posted my very first vlog, so I guess it's time to get back on track. You see, it's not easy for me to talk to the camera. However, I believe that the only way I will conquer this fear is if I keep doing it. Today this vlog is like a new start, and I will start from the beginning. I'm gonna share with you my career in the drinks industry. So, how did it all start? So actually it was kind of a happy accident. I used to follow my good friend Alvaro, which nowadays I call him brother. We've been friends for a very long time, and he was working in a nightclub in Lisbon, and one day I was there with him, and the barback didn't show up. So they said, "Hey, now, so we want to get some cash, we really need your help barbacking because the guy didn't show up." So basically I was picking up glasses from the dance floor, washing the glasses, bringing them to the bar, bringing ice, cutting some fruits. Really, whatever the bartender needed, I was there to help. At the end of the night, the manager said, "Hey, really enjoyed your performance, would you like to come tomorrow?" And that's really how I started. I was 18 years old at that time. From there I went to work in a small bar in Bairro Alto, which is very central in Lisbon. I started to serve some shots, some basic cocktails. And a couple of years later, when I was on my 20s, I grabbed an opportunity to open a bar with Alvaro in our local town. So it was between Sintra and Lisbon. This was a very small bar, family bar, kind of. There was a mezzanine on top that you could see the ground floor, which was kind of cool. We've done lots of mistakes, obviously. We were quite young. We were still learning on the go. Alvaro came with the expertise of dealing with the door and being a security guy. I was being a bartender and a barback, so I was dealing with the bar kind of operation. And we kept this bar for 7 years. So when it was 2008, economic crisis affected everyone around the world, and 2009 we were out of business. That's when I decided to come to London for the first time. This was September 2009. I started to work as a bartender in a small group, a 4-star hotel. It was Kingsway Hall Hotel in Holborn. My first week was quite difficult. I thought I could speak English, but pretty much my English was from school and the movies. So I was having some issues with the specific words like sink. Can you put this in the sink? I remember I had no clue what the sink was. Or can you pass me the tray? And I was passing the spray. So it was quite hard, and it crossed my mind to come back to Portugal, but honestly, for what? I was just turning the page. There was new opportunities, and I'm happy I stayed there. I stayed in that hotel for about 1 year. I've been promoted as a bar supervisor. That's on my first year when I started to try to be more integrated with the bar community here in London. I've done my very first cocktail competition. It was a sangria competition, obviously coming from Portugal. We used to serve sangria in our bar, and I was quite confident to do this competition. However, it was my very first competition. I got the second place, and I think that's what kind of motivated me to explore more and perhaps participate in more of these competitions, also because the prize was nice. So after 1 year being at the Kingsway Hall Hotel, I felt more comfortable with my English, and I thought, okay, so perhaps this is the good time for me to step forward and look for a bigger company and perhaps a higher position. I applied for the Waldorf Hilton, which is in Aldwych, very central London, in the middle of the theatre land, as a as a bar supervisor. So I started Waldorf as a supervisor. This was a 5-star property from a bigger group. This belongs to the Hilton group. I was very excited, and after 6 to 8 months I actually became the new bar manager. There was a big challenge ahead. We were opening a new bar within the hotel, so in a new place, which was the previous patisserie. We had to design all the new bar stations, working on a new menu, new glassware, so everything from scratch, even looking at the team and to look at what positions do we needed to hire. I was quite happy because I had by my side at the time Daniel Carvalho, which was is a childhood friend and is a great professional from the drinks industry as well. So he really gave me a good hand there. Overall, we had an amazing team in terms of other supervisors. Andrew, I remember, Hammond was a great bartender as well. We opened Good Godfrey's bar. This bar became a success. And I stayed at the Waldorf for about 4 years. It was very exciting because after a while I started to work kind of as a consultant for the Hilton group in Europe. So I traveled to Paris to record short videos on how to make these classic cocktails, and then these were used internally within the Hilton Europe as a training for the bartenders. I was judged as well for the F&B competition Europe for the Hilton, which was divided into culinary and bartending. So it was very, very exciting. We won an award at the Waldorf, it has a long name. It's the most innovative revenue generating idea of the year, which was me and Daniel. We launched a cocktail masterclass for the consumers. So the consumers would come and they would have a masterclass with us, and then we also upsell the package to have dinner at the restaurant. So this was great. We had around, I think, 1,400 guests coming. Obviously, maximum of the classes was we were taking 20 people. It was quite stressful in terms of bookings, but in the end of the day we made it work, and we got this award for the Hilton UK, which was great. During this time was also the time when I participated in few cocktail competitions. I was top 10 finalist for UK, which I think it was a great achievement being here in UK. It's quite competitive. For the world class, then I've done the Bacardi Legacy, which I was on top 3, was the most promising, the 3 most promising for the Bacardi Legacy finalists, and that actually is a competition that gave me a lot of exposure, and perhaps the reason why I ended up in China. During that year, I appeared in 6 magazines, 3 TV shows, and I started to get a lot of job offers. I was very, very happy at the Waldorf, and I refused a lot of them. But then within the Hilton group, I got an invitation from the Waldorf Astoria in Shanghai, and that one I decided to accept it. Moving to Shanghai was a very, very different experience because of language was completely different, culture also very different from anything I've seen in anywhere around Europe, I would say. But it was a great challenge. The plan was to stay there for 2 years as a bar manager, but actually after 6 months I became the beverage manager for the hotel. So I was overlooking 6 different outlets. I had to do the spot check in terms of the stock inventory. I had to do training for the team in terms of knowledge, while managing also the long bar, which was the iconic bar of the Waldorf Astoria. I had great fun, and at some point we actually won the award for best hotel bar in Shanghai. At that moment there was 3,500 bars in Shanghai, so it was a great achievement that made me really proud and happy. And then the plan, as I said, it was to stay there for around 2 years, but it was already like year and 9 months. I got contacted by Simone Caporale, which was looking for a brand ambassador for Disaronno products in Portugal. So I told him, look, I was planning to get back after 2 years, but if there is this opportunity to become the brand ambassador, perhaps I could go just a little bit earlier and going already with a job offer. So that's actually what happened. I stayed in China around 1 year and 10 months. And when I came back to Portugal, I started straight away as a brand ambassador for Disaronno and Tia Maria coffee liqueur, which belonged to Empor Spirits in Portugal. Empor Spirits was really a good experience in Portugal. So I arrived on the 1st of May, then 22nd of May was the Lisbon Bar Show, and I got the award for Best International Portuguese Bartender, which was referring to my period in Shanghai. So that, again, gave me good exposure when coming back to the bartending in Portugal. And being the brand ambassador, you also need to get these connections and network working, right? So I worked in this role for about 6 months. I was already, the plan was already to open my own magazine. This is a dream that I've been working on since I was working in London for the first time. I had a chance to work with some magazines like Imbibe. I was doing some tastings for Imbibe, for example. I remember I've done a cognac and cigar pairing with Clinton Cowwood, the journalist at that time. Cocktail Lovers, I've been there since the beginning. I used to follow them while they were digital, and then they invited me and another great bartenders to be on the cover of the first edition of the paper magazine. They call it the UK Elite Bartenders, which was great. I mean, I was within Peter Dorelli, Salvatore Calabrese, Marian Beck, Alex Cretina, Eric Lorenz, all these big stars, and I was there as well. So I was quite happy and honored to be part of that group. So all this experience within the magazine, also in China, I was working closely with Drink Magazine, which was run by Dan Bignold and Theo Watt. And we've done some projects together. Also, I've done advertorial for a cognac company and so on. So all this process of the magazine, it was kind of a dream. I knew that I wanted to apply it to Portugal one day because we didn't have any bartender magazine, and that's really what happened. So I came back to Portugal. I started to work as a brand ambassador, stayed in this role for a period of 6 months, which was great to launch the brands. And then after 6 months, that's when I started to work on my bartending magazine. The magazine was called Drinks Diary, and it was an amazing period of my life. I really learned and developed new skills. I can now paginate a new magazine if I want to. I can use InDesign, and at no cost. If you want to do it online, for example, on platforms such as ISO, you don't have to pay anything. If you can paginate, if you have the photos and the text, then it's pretty much free. So it's I did learn some new skills, but it was an amazing project as well. I mean, I've been in so many distilleries around the world. I remember Dominican Republic, went to Barcelona, Cognac with Pierre Ferrand, all the 5 distilleries of rum, agricole rum in Madeira Island. So it was very exciting. Unfortunately, again, after 3 years, I had to cut off this business because it was not making money. It's a, if you guys want me to tell you more about Drinks Diary, I can just leave some comments and I'll make a whole new video about it, because it may take some time, and this video is already being quite long. But it was a fantastic project, and after I closed this business, I then thought, okay, so I'm going back to London, which is the place I feel comfortable with. I contacted my previous F&B manager, the one I've been working at the Waldorf for 4 years. I said, look, I'm coming back to London. If you are aware of any opportunities, I'm looking for a bar manager position. And he told me, actually, we are now hiring because our bar manager will be leaving in 15 days. So I looked online, I've done the research. This was the Intercontinental. I went through the normal interview process and I got the job. So here I am now back in London again. I started at the Intercontinental in December. Stayed there for about 1 year and 2 months, and at the present time I'm the bar manager of the Churchill Bar at the Hyatt Churchill London, which I'm very happy. But I've been there for like 3 months, and then, as you all know, this COVID-19 situation started. So I'm very happy. I can see a pattern that happened to me before. I stayed 1 year at the Kingsway Hall and then 4 years at the Waldorf, and just moved because I had an invitation internally from the Hilton, and now again I came 1 year, I stayed at Intercontinental, and I can see myself seriously staying for 5-10 years at the Hyatt. It's a great place. I'm very happy. I have an amazing team. The place is a beautiful place with great potential. We had a lot of plans for this year, which unfortunately are not going to happen anymore due to the situation. I'm so happy and keen to get back on track. So that's it, guys. This is the background about my career in the drinks industry. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave some comments. If you like the kind of content I will present to you, which is going to be within the bar industry, please smash that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.